If you enjoy our podcast, please like and subscribe and consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Albuquerque Journal to help us bring you more content like this. You can find this episode and all of our podcasts on the Albuquerque Journal website, abqjournal.com, as well as YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. See the show notes for a discount code on a digital subscription. Thank you for supporting the Albuquerque Journal, New Mexico's leading news.
Hey there, welcome everyone. I am James Yodice. I am the high school sports editor at the Albuquerque Journal. Welcome to Preps Central, our high school sports podcast. We are going to talk mostly football today. We're into week 10 of the regular season, so we just have this week and next week. The playoff brackets will be out early next Sunday morning, I believe, which would be November 2nd. So yeah, everybody's down to their last couple of games. So we're going to talk a little bit about games coming up this weekend, but I want to talk first about some of the games that were key from last weekend. And also we've got a guest coming in today as well, Rio Rancho High School senior wide receiver Parker Miller, who leads Class 6A football in receiving yards and touchdowns. So Parker's going to join us a little bit later. So let's get to it. We're actually going to start with 5A football and the big game last weekend, which was Artesia and Roswell at the Wool Bowl in Roswell. Artesia, with their quarterback Derek Warren throwing for 6 touchdowns, I believe, beat Roswell 42-28. That was a matchup of number 1 against number 2 in the state. So Artesia now very close to clinching that district title. They still have 2 games remaining. They play Goddard this week, and then they play Mayfield in the season finale on Halloween night. So Artesia with that win looking pretty solid to get the number 1 seed. Not that that would be any surprise. Roswell is still going to be a top 4 seed, no question. I think Roswell would have to fall flat in these last 2 games. I think they play Mayfield, and then they close with Goddard next week. If Roswell takes care of business, that's still probably going to be your number 2 seed. As a matter of fact, it almost certainly will be. So there's still some key games in that district coming up this week and next, but at the top, Artesia cemented its position. The other district, it's still in 5A, it's still Los Alamos showing the way. There are some other teams that are scraping, trying to find position, maybe hoping to get a top 8 seed, which might bring a home game. I think, in my head, Los Alamos, if Los Alamos takes care of business, and they're down here in the metro area on Saturday to play Valley, and then they close against Miyamura. If Los Alamos takes care of business, they're going to have a top 8 seed, maybe even a top 4 seed. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. They're close. So they're going to be off the first week, or they're going to have a first-round home game. Not sure which. But the second-place team in that district could also be in line for a home game, and we don't know who that's going to be yet. There's some good teams in the mix, Belen and Valley. Valley has this is a key game for Valley on Saturday. Highland. There's some teams that could still finish second behind Los Alamos, depending on how these last 2 weeks go. So I think they're all hoping maybe by some long shot they might be able to get an 8 seed and get a home game in the first round. So we're going to see how that plays out this week. But yeah, Artesia is still showing the way, and they're clearly the best team in 5A. And they've beaten all the challengers so far. Matter of fact, all the top challengers in their district they've already played, I think. So everything is a green light right now for Artesia. In 6A football, the big game last weekend was the one I was at on Friday night with Rio Rancho beating Volcano Vista 28-27 in overtime. That was on Friday night. This has ramifications for both schools because Rio Rancho now is in a position to be a top 4 overall seed if they can beat Cleveland the last weekend of the season. They play October 30th, Thursday night at Cleveland at 6 o'clock. So if Rio Rancho takes care of business against Farmington this week in week 10, then their game against Cleveland almost certainly will be for the district championship. Cleveland is playing Volcano Vista this week on Friday. I'll be at that game as well. Volcano Vista very banged up. They were missing their starting quarterback. Actually, they're down to their third running back. They were missing a key linebacker. And they were still in that game right to the end. As a matter of fact, they went for 2 points in overtime. They went for 2 points in overtime. Rio Rancho scored first, got the PAT. Volcano went next, scored on the first play. And Coach Chad Wallen rolled the dice, went for 2 in the win, and they got stopped on a run up the middle. So Volcano, I think now, look, Volcano's going to be a top 8 seed, no question. They're going to get a first-round home game, but unless they somehow miraculously beat Cleveland shorthanded this week, they're not going to be a top 4 seed. I don't think. Stranger things have happened. Not counting anybody out, but Volcano Vista's task to be a top 4 seed, which I think they were solid in last week, not solid anymore. So yeah, we're going to see how that plays out in that district. In District 2, there's an interesting story developing with Albuquerque High. So Albuquerque High beats El Dorado the other day, 17-14. That was last Thursday night. The Bulldogs, who play Sandia this Friday night at Wilson Stadium, if they win, they're pretty much locked into the number 3 position in that district, behind La Cueva and behind Los Lunas. Number 3 could and probably should get Albuquerque High into the playoffs, I think. Now, if they lose to Sandia, it's a mess. It's a mess for a whole bunch of teams, not even teams in their district. This would include teams like Cibola and Piedra Vista, perhaps Alamogordo. If Albuquerque High wins, I think that will be their 6th win. That should be enough to get them into state. They play La Cueva the last week. If you assume they don't beat La Cueva, Albuquerque High as a 3rd-place team, yeah, I could see this team getting into the state tournament. And that is significant because Albuquerque High has not been to the playoffs since 1989, and they have not won a playoff game since 1976. So if you're talking about schools that have had playoff droughts, you can look right here to Albuquerque High. This is the one that it might be very well be the longest one out there. So Albuquerque High's got a lot to play for. We're going to be covering that game on Friday night up at Wilson as well. So I'm going to be keenly interested in how that game goes. In the other district, the Southern District this week, the big game is Las Cruces against Carlsbad. Las Cruces continues to be the best team in the state and certainly the best team in that district. Carlsbad is in a 3-way tussle with Centennial and Hobbs to finish 2nd place in that district. And there are still several key head-to-head matchups in that district, including this week with Cruces and Carlsbad, next week with Centennial and Las Cruces, and Hobbs plays Carlsbad next week as well. So there's still some head-to-head action that's going to determine things. Alamogordo is still very much in the mix. They've won 4 games, but they can't finish any better than 5th place in that district. So Alamogordo, as much as anybody, is going to be right on that bubble to be maybe the last team into the field, maybe. They did beat Albuquerque High, which is a big bonus for them, but finishing 5th in their district is going to be a bit of a problem for them when it comes to selection criteria. And Alamogordo also lost a game head-to-head to Piedra Vista, who is certainly in the mix to get one of those last bids to the 6A playoffs. Piedra Vista plays Cibola this week. That is a key game. I know it doesn't sound like one, but it is. If Cibola wins, I think they're locked. I think they're getting into the playoffs, no problem. If they lose that game, Cibola may very well end up finishing 5th in that district. And then, so much depends on how other schools finish. It's too complicated to even mention here, but there's a lot going on. Moving into 4A football, just real quick. The big game in 4A was at Milne Stadium the other day. St. Pius beat Chaparral 50-0, which I still find just a crazy score. I don't believe Chaparral was at 100%, but St. Pius took over 1st place in District 2 4A. That district has been by far the craziest district in the state in any class. The results week to week are just very hard to predict. And of course, Chaparral now has lost 2 in a row. They lost to Silver the previous week, and now they lost to St. Pius. And a whole bunch of teams in that district are jostling for position. Teams like Manzano and Valencia, Chaparral now, Portales, Silver. All these teams are jostling for position in that district to try and get the best seed they can for the playoffs. And and a couple of decent teams may end up on the outside looking in. So that district now runs through St. Pius. St. Pius finishes the season with road games against Valencia and then a game at Wilson Stadium against Manzano the last week. The other district, top-ranked Bloomfield was here in town the other day. I didn't get a chance to watch them. They just beat up on Bernalillo 60-16. So Bernalillo has been Bloomfield has been the dominant team in District 1 4A. Bloomfield still finishes with Espanola Valley this coming Saturday, and then they finish the season at home against Grants. So Bloomfield looks to be, I think they're going to be the number 1 seed. If Pius closes things out, I think those teams will be 1 and 2, which is very much what we thought was going to happen when we started the season back the latter part of August. So Bloomfield doing very well. Their quarterback, Manuel Chavarria, having a fantastic season. That kid's thrown for, I think, 33 touchdowns against 4 interceptions, and he's a first-year starter, took over for Blake Spencer, who graduated, and he has been fantastic for Bloomfield. And Bloomfield's got a bunch of weapons on this team. They've got a great running game. They've got depth at the receiver position, and they've got a quarterback who's not making any errors. And the pressure is off of him a bit because he's able to get the ball to so many different playmakers, and it's showing. And Bloomfield still plays great defense. So Bloomfield appears to be the complete package. St. Pius, Sebastian Noel, who was on this program several weeks ago, he covered the Pius Chaparral game for the NFHS network through ProView Networks here in town. And he said that was the team he expected to see all year, meaning St. Pius. 50-0 is an outrageous score. I mean, these are the teams that were ranked number 2 and number 3 in the state. Pius at 2, Chaparral at 3, and Pius Mercy ruled them by halftime. That is super impressive. So maybe Pius is getting its act together. They had that loss a couple of weeks ago to Academy. Then they rebounded with a strong win over Portales and then an even better win over Chaparral. So we're going to keep an eye on that as well. Like I said, the brackets are going to be out in 10 days or so, and I'm excited to see them, especially in Class 4A. It's going to be very volatile. Both districts have teams that are just sporadically competitive and capable of beating you when you least expect it. Teams like Taos and Grants and Moriarty, Espanola Valley, even. So there are quite a number of teams in both those districts in Class 4A, and we're going to see, some head-to-head games between these two districts at state, which ought to be a lot of fun because, I don't know what we're going to get. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun in that particular bracket. So we're down to it. Thursday night, football begins with no really huge games. Hobbs is on the road at Oregon Mountain. Hobbs needs to keep winning, of course, to set up that game with Carlsbad next week. Friday night, the Cleveland Volcano game is interesting. I don't know how healthy Volcano will be. We're going to see about that. The Albuquerque High Sandia game is one that fascinates me. And then we get into Saturday. Los Alamos can pretty much clinch the District 1-5A title when they're down here at Milne to play Valley. Of course, Los Alamos. I had their outstanding running back, Jordan Herrera, on my podcast a few weeks back. So that kind of gives you a lay of the land for Week 10. And with that, we're going to jump right into my conversation with our guest today. He is Parker Miller, the wide receiver from Rio Rancho High School, having a tremendous season for the Rams. Here is my chat with Parker. Okay, as promised, here is the first of my two guests today. He is Parker Miller, senior wide receiver from Rio Rancho High School. Rio Rancho coming off a really important 28-27 overtime win the other night against Volcano Vista. Parker has caught 50 passes this year, 13 touchdowns, which leads Class 6A football, 847 rushing yards, receiving yards, nearly 17 yards a catch, which also leads 6A in terms of his yardage. Parker, welcome. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you for having me.
You bet. So why don't we start with last week first? I was at the game against Volcano the other night, which was extremely close and extremely important. Look, I think if you don't win that game, you guys are still in really good shape to get a first-round home game at the state tournament. Now that you have won that game, if you take care of business against Farmington this week, you'll have a district championship game now against Cleveland next week, which could assure you a top 4 seed and a bye week. So let's talk about the importance of getting this win the other night. Very close all the way, could have gone either way. Just tell me how you guys got it done and just how important you all felt it was to get this one particular victory.
Yeah, man. I mean, we just took it every day in practice. I mean, it's been like this since week 1, since the summer. And we just been putting in the work. We study film in and out. And I feel like we just, as a team, from the coaches to the players, we were very what's the word? Just very ready in a sense, I think our defense played very, very well. And I think that's where we really specialize in.
The numbers you've been putting up this year have been very impressive. And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, and I might be, if I'm not mistaken, the other top receiver on this team, Jace Lee, has been injured, has he not?
Yeah, he has.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So And your quarterback, Micah Takahashi, look, you are his favorite target. We all know that. I think opposing defenses and opposing coaches know that as well. And yet you've still managed to put up great numbers this year. And I'm wondering about that because, look, teams are going to focus on you. That's just the way it is. They're going to try and put a second man on you whenever possible because they know if you're in the red zone or if you're facing, like a third down and 10 or 12 or something. I think teams know instinctively if Micah can get the ball to you, that's where he's going to go. And yet you're still having a lot of success in this offense. And I'm wondering how tricky that has been, knowing how much of a focus you are with these defensive backs.
Yeah, obviously defenses have, arranged that. They'll put the safety on me. They'll slide the linebacker into the flats. But, I feel like Coach Pino does a great job of putting me and Mike in great situations, calling the great play calls. And, our O-line gives Mike a time to throw the ball, make completions to me. So, and I mean, we also have Ethan Rowland. We have a great running back. So that I feel like that also opens up the playbook too. So not just they have me guarding me, but they also have Ethan. We also have Jesse. We also have Gilly right now. We have a lot of weapons, I feel like. So, we can get the ball to a lot of people. So that's really great to have.
One observation I have, and I know it may not be true for all the games you guys have played. Rio Rancho was 5-3. As Parker and I sit here and talk today, it's Wednesday, the 23rd. You seem to do a good job, or maybe it's the play calling of getting you inside leverage. In other words, you're able to keep the defensive back off of you, on your back shoulder, and give you a chance to get a clean catch and give Micah a chance to make a clean throw.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, Coach Chris Williams, he's taught me basically everything I know. He's a great coach. We work the stuff every single day in practice. So from 6:30 to 7:50 every morning. So, we definitely put in the work, and, it really shows in game, I feel like. So,
that was one of the questions I had for you today. I covered Chris when he was a great athlete at Rio Rancho. In fact, I've been doing this job so long, and I know Chris really well, and he and I have a great relationship. I would describe Chris as one of the 5 greatest athletes I have ever covered in this job. And I've been doing this job since I was pretty much your age. I started at the Journal when I was 17, and I'm 58 now. And Chris still is one of the 5 best athletes I have ever seen. And I always felt it was a shame he didn't get more of a look from colleges.
Yeah.
He ends up going to New Mexico State. And of course he played in the NFL briefly and even scored a touchdown, on a nationally televised game. It must be amazing to have his brain to pick as an athlete. And I want you to explain the relationship you have with Chris and what exactly he brings to the table that benefits you on Friday nights.
No, it's amazing to have him on the team. He's a great coach, great person. Me and him connect very well. He's been coaching me ever since freshman summer going into a sophomore year. So we really have a really close connection. He's obviously, like I said, a great coach. He's been to the NFL, been to the CFL, played D1. So, he definitely has a lot of experience. And, that goes with a lot of our coaches as well. But, yeah, Chris Williams, he's a great guy. We have a great relationship and great coach, too.
Is there any one specific thing that he has brought to your game that you feel like has benefited you the most on game nights?
I think probably creating space, my releases off ball. Just reading the defenses as well. I feel like that's been a crucial part in my success. So,
interesting. Okay. So, Rio Rancho had a 3-game losing streak early on in the season, but these 3 losses were all forgivable. You guys lost to Los Cruces. I was down there for that game at the Field of Dreams. You lost a game to Centennial, I think, and then Eastlake out of El Paso. So, you guys started with a couple of wins. Then you had the 3-game losing streak. Tell me how you guys just kind of kept focused, because you guys have won, I believe, now 3 in a row since then, against Cibola, against Piedra Vista, against Volcano. So you guys are getting some momentum. Tell me how you survived that 3-game losing streak and how you sort of kept your feet under you. And when I say I mean your team, not you individually, but this whole group, how you guys kept your feet underneath you and kept going at it.
I feel like we just had the next play mentality. We lost a game here, we lost a game there, but every day we showed up at practice, right? We held each other accountable. I feel like as a team, we've gave 100% each play, each rep, and our coaches also hold us very accountable to that. We have themes of the week every single week, so I feel like that really helps our team just, have a goal and have like that right mindset going into Friday nights.
Yeah, I mean, look, the teams in this, I think if I remember right, you guys opened with the Trisco Heritage, who struggled, and you played, Clovis, I think,
Sure.
the first couple of weeks. And then your schedule got like so hard so fast. And I'm wondering, and if you're talking about getting your skin thickened, teams in this district can talk about that in ways that other schools cannot, simply because of all the really tough teams you face in your district and outside your district. You get to a point where hardly anything comes as a surprise, I would think.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, we do have great teams. I mean, like, yeah, we just been working and, just not let like those losses, like you said, like getting our heads, I mean, we've just been taking it rep by rep, day by day. So, yeah.
So going back to August and doing my preseason preview work, there were a good number of coaches that said, one team that you probably should think about more than you are is Rio Rancho. And several of these coaches said to me, Rio Rancho is going to be a better team, I think, than people realize they are. And I'm wondering from you guys inside your locker room, even if you go back even to the offseason, did you guys feel like there was something special brewing and still has something special brewing? I mean, we're not done yet. Did this group feel like there was great upside for this team?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we all have great chemistry. Me, Micah, Ethan rolling in the backfield. I mean, I feel like we have a very, very good offense. We have good coaches, and we also have a great defense. We have Quentin McKinley and Jordan Gold on the defensive cornerbacks. So I feel like, we really have something special, and I feel like some people might have even overlooked that. Looking at teams like Cleveland, Las Cruces, even Centennial. But I feel like we compete with those teams. I feel like we're definitely up there, and I really feel like we're a great team.
Describe the grind of playing in this district week to week.
I mean, yeah, it's hard. I would say that we have probably the toughest district in New Mexico. I mean, we got Cleveland there is a great team. And I mean, it's like I said, it's just a day by day thing, right? We show up at practice, show up to work, and give your focus, give your determination and discipline every single rep. So
I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your quarterback, Micah. So if memory serves, last year there was a bit of sharing time at quarterback between Micah and JJ Ariano, if I'm not mistaken. This has been Micah's job full blown this year, and he's having a terrific year. I mean, I think he leads the team in rushing, and certainly he's proven to be a pretty accomplished passer. And I'm wondering your chemistry with him, how much you attribute your success to just the time that you spend with him.
Yeah. No, I mean, to me, Micah, every morning, I mean, we practice a lot, and he's a great player. And that's also what I also feel like really opens up our playbook too, because he's not just a sit in the pocket and throw the ball type of quarterback. Like if he gets pressure, he can get out of it and he can go make a play 20 yards down the field, 30 yards down the field. And he showed that multiple times. So he's a great player. I love to have him on our team. And, he definitely took a huge step up coming up from being a sophomore and now a junior, playing varsity. And he was also a very crucial player on our team last year as well, playing multiple different positions.
Yeah. Do you pattern your game after anybody in particular? Is there an NFL player whose work you admire and who you fashion yourself after?
Yeah. I mean, I like to watch some of the games, but I'd say I don't know. I look at for route running. I look at Justin Jefferson. They all Cooper Kupp. They all have great route running and these receivers like that. Devontae Adams. So yeah.
I hear this term all the time, and of course I didn't play receiver, obviously. Describe to me what a great route runner is. What does he have to do to be that?
I think just finding an open space, making space, attacking the corner's toes, and just getting open, honestly.
And you seem to do that, and you're a very sure-handed kind of guy. Once again, we're talking with Parker Miller. Rio Rancho plays Farmington Friday night at home, which should be, I think, senior night for Rio Rancho, because your season finale next week on October 30th, Thursday, will be at Cleveland. I always feel like I need to ask this question. Do you have to be careful? Look, Farmington doesn't have a great record, but they have periodically played some good football. They took La Cueva to overtime. They've played some good football here and there. Do you have to be careful not to think about Cleveland? And I suppose the same question could go to Cleveland about their game with Volcano. You don't want to start thinking about Rio Rancho week until you're done with week 9. Do you guys have to be careful not to start thinking about Cleveland this week and thinking what having a district championship game, that kind of thing?
I mean, no, I just really focus on, and as a team, I think we really focus just on Friday, right? I mean, once we get to Monday and after the game on Friday, that's when we'll start looking at Cleveland, watching film, and just going to work on Cleveland. But for right now, we're really focusing on Farmington and making sure we get the job done on Friday.
What are your ambitions in football? Do you hope to play at the next level?
Yes, sir. I mean, the goal since a kid's been always to go D1, so hopefully that'll happen.
Can you tell me where you're at? Do you have any offers? Are you talking to any schools yet?
Yeah, I have a couple offers from I have Highlands, I have ENMU, I have a D2 school in Kansas that's offered me, and I mean, obviously, I'm open to any schools. I mean, I've UNM sent me a game day invite, so I was there at that against the NMSU game.
Right.
That was good to be at. So
awesome. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, Parker, listen, I appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day. I know you got to head to football practice here in a few minutes. Thanks for joining me. Good luck on Friday. I will see you at the Cleveland game a week from Thursday.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Okay, that was my chat with Parker Miller from Rio Rancho. I thank him for his time. More guests upcoming next week as we preview the Cleveland-Rio Rancho game next Thursday. That game was moved from Halloween night to October 30th at 6 o'clock at Cleveland. I certainly will be there. That's, as I noted earlier, that could be the District 1 6A championship game. And we have more guests coming up next week. We're going to preview that game. I hope to have Hobbs coach Ken Stevens on next week. And I hope to get Jordan Hatch, the Cleveland High quarterback, on the program next week if we can make it work as well. And then I still have a bunch of guests that we're going to get to end the regular season and into the playoffs as well. So that kind of closes out the football part of it. I wanted to make one quick note, non-football related. This is cross-country related. And I only bring this up because many of you know about Gianna Rahmer, the outstanding sophomore runner from El Dorado. She's already a 2-time state champion as an 8th grader and as a 9th grader. And she almost certainly will win another state title in Class 5A next month. November 8th is the date of the state meet at Academy. Last weekend, we had something called sort of the pre-state race, the Albuquerque Academy Extravaganza, which is run over the same course as the state meet. So nearly all the top runners from the state were here in Albuquerque to compete in this meet. And I wanted to mention one runner in particular. Her name is Carmen Dorsey-Spitz. She is a junior from Moriarty, and she competed in the 4A race. There were 4 different classifications, 5A, 4A, 3A, and then 1A and 2A combined. So there were 8 races total, 4 boys races, 4 girls races. Carmen competed earlier in their day in the 4A race and went out and broke the course record, which Gianna Rahmer held, which she set as an 8th grader, I believe, at the state meet. Gianna ran a time of 16 minutes and 58 seconds her 8th grade year at the state meet. That was the course record. Carmen Dorsey-Spitz from Moriarty on Saturday morning in the 4A race went out and ran a time of 16 minutes and 47.09 seconds, which broke Gianna's record by 11 seconds. This is significant because we haven't written about anything related to Gianna that involved one of her records going down. And in fact, the two did not race head to head in this meet. Gianna was in the 5A portion of the race, which she won. But she ran 17 seconds slower than Carmen Dorsey-Spitz of Moriarty. That is noteworthy. Gianna has been setting the standard clearly for almost the last 3 full years. And here we had the first runner from New Mexico, the first one that went out and posted a time that was very Gianna Rahmer-esque. So unfortunately, those two will not race head to head again this season. They will both be at the state meet, of course, but Carmen will be in the 4A race. Gianna will be in the 5A race. But Carmen is just a junior. Of course, Gianna is just a sophomore. So we should see these two race against each other the next couple of years. But how Carmen performs at state, I'm really interested to see how that pans out and whether she can put up another good time. She's been on my radar all year. She ran a fairly close second to Gianna at the UNM invite back in September, which caught my eye. Carmen finished 20 seconds behind Gianna. And I know that doesn't sound very close, but honestly, Gianna Rahmer usually wins races by a minute. So the margin of victory there caught my eye. And so I was really interested to see this girl run on Saturday at Academy. And boy, did she ever blow everybody's doors off with a time that set the course record. Now, this course record, they raced at different times during the day. The temperature was different. Carmen raced in the morning when it was cooler, more favorable for runners. Gianna raced 4 hours later when it was much warmer in the day. So the conditions were not exactly the same, but one prominent coach told me he didn't think that would make the difference in the times, at least not 17 seconds worth. So we congratulate Carmen, but that's a name that's going to be on everybody's radar, at least for the rest of this season and certainly into next season. So we congratulate her on her win at the Academy Extravaganza. Last thing, this is the last week of soccer. Regular season ends on Saturday. I'm going to be doing a bunch of soccer this week as district championships get decided in a whole bunch of districts. The state brackets will be out on Sunday. And then we have 4 rounds leading up to state championship games, either Friday, November 7th or Saturday, November 8th. So, I'll be writing about all the postseason brackets coming up this weekend. So anyway, that will kind of close things out for me. I appreciate you joining me this week. Week 10 of football season. Can't believe it's here already. It goes by so fast. So I thank you for watching. I thank Parker Miller again for his time. So go out and enjoy the football this week. Stay healthy, and we'll talk to you again next week. Take care.